What's something you found on a partner's phone that instantly changed the relationship forever, but they never knew you saw it? Been together since 17. Had a good feeling to check his phone, but he always was guarded when it came to it. He fell asleep one day with YouTube open, looked through his Instagram, and for the past 6 months, he was in a group chat with 2 other people sending each other videos of using the restroom in diapers and exchanging feet pics. All for amounts of money that never exceeded $10. No idea how to even approach this. I went through my partner's phone after he passed away from cancer last year. Had to find contact numbers for a few friends not on the funeral list we made. In his Notes app, I found phrases he used in his letters to me, as we often wrote to each other when he was in hospital and visiting times were short. English was not his first language, and I hadn't realized how hard he had practiced in order to say what he wanted to say. I sent myself a copy of those notes and look at them often. A few years ago, I was adding some items to the Notes app grocery list on my wife's phone. The app opened to the most recent list, which was a copy of her wedding vows with the promises she made to me, things like supporting my dreams, being my partner in crazy adventures. Besides, each one was a list of ideas to match, including some things we had done recently. We were going through a rough patch at the time, and seeing that list doubled my resolve to work through it. Did you guys work it out? We worked it out. We were dealing with grief from a stillbirth and my stepfather, who raised me, being sick. It took a lot of therapy and honesty, but the relationship has never been better. There was a photo album of nothing but pictures of me and our son titled My Perfect Men. There were pictures in there I didn't even know about. Him helping me wash my car, us laying on the couch, him teaching me Minecraft, me helping him ride a bike, etc. I was a mess for a while, ugly crying. Happy tears, but ugly crying. I had no idea I was loved so deeply by her. My wife is quiet, introverted, and didn't grow up in an environment that was outwardly loving. I wasn't snooping at all, but asked her to share some recent pictures of our son after a sports day at a school. I saw her in a different light after that. Our already good marriage hit a level I didn't even know was possible. His messenger chats with my mom. He jokes with my mom a lot and would always ask about me, what I was like as a kid, why am I so full of energy, and how to take care of me. My mom had cancer and passed away last 2023, but their last messages to each other was him assuring her he'd take care of me the way she wants to. Quick pause, not to check anyone's phone, don't worry. I'm just trying to reach 100 subs this month. If you're still here, maybe you're meant to be part of this little community. It's subscribe if you want more stories like these. Okay, back to the secrets. A couple months into dating a girl, I was sitting in the passenger seat of her car, waiting for her to come back from running inside our house when I saw a text come through on her phone that said, "Happy anniversary, baby. Can't wait to see you tonight." So yeah, that ended. Holy shit, was she married or just cheating on her boyfriend? Both, technically. He handed me his phone when he was driving so I could text his mom for him. When I unlocked his phone, it opened to a note that was just a list of everything I've ever mentioned that I liked, and it was titled Gift Ideas. Like one of the items in the list was something I had seen in the window of a shop and mentioned that I thought it was cute, and we just kept walking. It made me feel so loved to know that he paid attention to every tiny thing. We're married now. I worked with a guy who'd just buy those things ASAP. Not to give ASAP, but he always had a couple presents ready for whatever special date he forgot about. Never scrambling on February 13th, or when he forgot their anniversary or her birthday or whatever. It was kind of a genius, but it was also such an engineer thing to do. See problem, solve problem. Not his phone, but my late husband's tablet. A year after he died, I was clearing his tablet of stuff and saw he had a Twitter account. I was reading through his posts and hit one that had me in tears for the rest of the day. He had responded to some thread about keeping women in their place, or some such garbage. Husband had posted a long rant about how bringing married for 35 years to a woman who never tired of learning, who never let things stop her, who stayed interested in new things was the best thing in his life, and that a smart, thinking woman kept his life interesting and exciting. I always knew he felt this way, but seeing him say this to a total internet stranger in a forum I thought I would never see was just kind of overwhelming for a few days. We were friends for 45 years, best friends for 43 years, married for 37 years. He died 3.5 years ago, and the hole in my life is just as big as the day he died.
Notes keeping track of how long since we last had a fight, when to pick the next one if we haven't had one by then, and potential things to pick a fight about. She didn't believe in a relationship going more than 4 weeks without a fight. Also a list of my passwords she managed to uncover. A girl I dated years ago once confronted me about how I wouldn't start fights and that it bored her. She was used to toxic relationships. She got nuttier, and over time we ended up having plenty of fights. She told me to pound sand one day over something trivial. I asked if she wanted to join me for dinner with my roommates. She didn't reply, so I told her I'd catch her afterward. At that point, she did reply and lashed out how I just do what I want and don't care about her and to not bother speaking to her again. So I complied, and that was that. I was pretty fed up with her and just shrugged it off and had a laugh with my friends at dinner. Apparently I'm single now. I talked to her years later, and she conceded she was still in love, and it broke her heart that I didn't go after her. He sent a photo of his jizz on our bed sheets to another woman. What the That's so lame. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. OP's husband. Proof that she was cheating. Took a video with my own phone of all the proof. Then confronted her that I knew she was cheating, but didn't tell her how. She confessed to cheating with an entirely different person than what I had proof of. Wild times. A relative of mine was a school teacher. When a kid was in trouble, he'd sit them down and say, I already know what happened, but this is your opportunity to tell your side. He said he had to train himself to hide his surprise because it almost always resulted in the kid admitting to a bunch of different things besides what they were suspected of. My husband changed his phone password to my name within 3 months of us dating. He didn't tell me he had. I only realized one day when I needed to unlock his phone and asked. I had trust issues going into our relationship, so it was a shock that someone would use my name for anything. We've now been together for 7 years, and he's still my password. She left a Facebook Messenger conversation between her and her friend open on her computer. I'd use her computer when I was at class, but it was her complaining how much time I spent at her apartment, and then I was smothering her by always being around. I was surprised by this, as she'd have a breakdown and accuse me of abandoning her when I'd leave to stay at my own place for a few days. Trying to appear cool in front of her friend, lol. I'm totally not clingy, he is. He can't get enough of me. Seeing her defend me in her family group, threatening to break contact with her entire family if they keep bad-mouthing me all the time, telling them how happy she's with me and how much I helped her gain self-confidence, which they always try to destroy. And funnily enough, what a great cook I am. After that, she lashed out at them, calling out her family's bad marriages and lying relationships. Love that woman. Never gonna let her go. Cried a bit when I've accidentally read all of it. Me and my fiance have a really chill relationship. We respect that phones are private, so we don't snoop, but use each other's phones all the time for stuff like a torch, etc. when we grab whatever's nearest, or to Google a number. I was asking about something and he said look it up and passed his phone. I went to Google and it opened his last tab. He was looking at engagement rings. I clicked on another tab and searched down that instead to try to hide that I'd seen it. I never confessed I'd seen it, but Christ, I knew pretty early on I wanted to spend my life with him and we'd had casual conversations, but I'm a natural skeptic. To see that just really solidified in my little worried brain that he wasn't lying when he said he loved me. Notes app with a list of stuff about me. Favorite movies, flowers I'd like to get, shoe size, anything and everything. There were subdivisions like potential gifts to buy, what to do if I'm angry at him, stuff about my seasonal depression and what helps. It was almost 3 pages long and titled My Love. I fell in love more. It showed he's serious about me and willing to put in effort. I was using his phone when mine had died, and I have a habit of closing apps. He had 1 million open, and it was driving me nuts, and his Reddit was open. He doesn't post much, just follows and likes a bunch of woodworking and bushcrafting subreddits, but the few posts he commented on were about me. It made my heart feel so happy I wanted to vomit, lol. My favorite comment was about someone planning Valentine's Day for their partner, and he said something like, one Valentine's Day, my wife surprised me with a giant blanket fort. She had her parents watch our daughter, bought all my favorite snacks and sushi for dinner, had Lord of the Rings ready to play, and made a pillow nest on the floor inside the fort. Best wife ever. He doesn't have social media and isn't one for writing letters or cards, doesn't make a big show of his affections for me, so to see him gushing about me online was so, I love that ghost. Not partner, but family. We have a family group on WhatsApp. One day I realized that people stopped talking as much. They didn't stop fully, but it was way less. I thought it was life getting busy and people just not using WhatsApp as much anymore. One day my aunt asked me to fix something on her phone. I took a peek and saw that they created another group without me, and it was full of recent messages. So that's it for today's stories. Share in the comments what's something you found on a partner's phone that changed everything. If you enjoyed listening, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss the next video. Thanks for being here. See you soon.